afternoon from Athens.
Good afternoon, good morning over here. Okay, so it's a pleasure for me to share with you a couple of ideas just to complement the entire presentation that you have seen during the day. My 15 minutes contribution is it's focused on emotional shopper experience, and what I will do is to take you through exactly an explanation how we buy, how we decide, how our brain works. My background is behavioral neuroscience, and this is what I do for a living. So what I do is to study exactly how people make decisions, and in our case, how we buy things. And referring specifically to shopper marketing. Just recapping a little bit on what is the objective of all this. We need to influence somebody to make a decision, which is a different behavior, and the behavior must be driven by positive emotions in order to guarantee that this person will be convinced to buy more products, or convince them to buy more expensive products, or to buy more frequently in a particular store. So if we depart from this idea, we need to recognize that every time you buy something, you get into a store, you typically have a certain routines. And if you observe the behavior in different stores, you typically, get into the same store every time, and you choose the same corridor to start your navigation in the store the same way. And every time you change store or you get into a new store in town, your shopping experience takes longer. And this is basically because your routines are completely broken and you need to start something new. This regular behavior is known and well described by Daniel Kahneman. And in a very simplified manner, I'm not going to get into technical concepts or whatever, that it's not really practical to our theme right now. The T1 system is a system that typically we describe as the zombie, the shopper that is a zombie that get into a store and typically repeat exactly the same routines everywhere, buy exactly the same products from the same store area, and then move on to the next product in the list. But every time you discover something that is really interested in the store, you will wake up. You will start taking, dedicating more time, a couple of seconds, just to understand what exactly is in front of you. And then you are basically using a second system that is known as T2. That is basically the system that is consuming a lot of blood in your brain, but it's allowing you to discover, to understand, to rationalize the ideas that are the stimulus that are getting into your brain, and then you can take a decision. But how this is work? Our brain basically is divided in a very simplistic manner in 3 different groups. The first one, and the oldest one, is the reptilian brain. It's the one that is directly connected to the neurological system, and it's called reptilian brain because most of the structure is very similar to the one that we can see in reptilians as well. Is the part of the brain that keeps you alive, keep us alive as a human being, because it's the one that is responsible for reactions, unconscious reactions. Every time you touch something that is hot, you take out your hand, or every time that you feel that something is threatening you, you can run. So it's something that you don't think, but it's a reaction. It's in your DNA, and it's programmed in such a way that will keep you alive, will keep you safe. So this is a reptilian brain. Some people can describe a lot about some basic needs that are in this part of the brain that are related, for example, to hunger, to sex, So if you think about the pyramid of needs, we are talking about the basic one, the first level, and this is all reserved in this part of the brain, the reptilian brain. Then above this reptilian brain, a new group of cells were created, and this is what we call the mammalian brain, the mammal brain. Or it's a part of the brain that we typically see in all type of animals that are in groups. So this part of the brain allows you to feel closeliness. You feel some sort of relationship with an individual or a brand that somehow is close to you. So you feel love, you feel a relationship, a link, belonging. Some sort of comparison allows you to compare different things as well, but it's always related to heart and feelings. And on top of this, you have the rational brain. That is a new one, and it's exclusive for Homo sapiens. What is the difference versus the other ones? This rational brain is the one that is capable to decide, to compare things in a way that you can understand pros and cons, and then you make a decision for good or for bad thing. So this is where you have in the area that is just in front of your eyes, you have the prefrontal cortex, that is the limbic zone, and this is where you have all the feelings. All the sensations are there, so you can every time you try to awake a shopper or motivate the shopper somehow to feel something. Well, this is the area where the first reactions will start to appear, and then the rest of the chain will continue following. But this is in very short. In few seconds how the brain works and how it is divided. But let me tell you a little bit more about this. This configuration of the brain allow us to somehow, feel 6 emotions, like in lights or colors. You have like 7 basic colors in emotion. You have 6 basic emotions, and every other emotion that you can describe or feel or understand is a combination. It's basically a combination of these 6 ones. There is a famous guy, Paul Ekman, that is, this guy has written a lot of different books. He's the one that the method of face recognition is being used by the FBI, and it's used in Disney. It's used in tons of different companies that are really seriously using the face recognition to evaluate the quality of the experience. Experience that can be in a park like Disney, or in a shop, in a store, to evaluate exactly how satisfied is the shopper with some stimulus that you're presenting there. So 6 emotions, from fear, that you can feel every time you are facing a new product, or you need to decide to change your brand, product or service for something that you don't know. Satisfaction, joy, rage, every time you feel that you need something and you get into a store and it's not there because out of stock, for instance. So you feel annoyance, you feel frustration. Or every time you are queuing in a line, and that is something that you are in a rush and you get into a store and you discover that there are too many people in front of you, and then you feel rage. Sadness. This is typically something that you can feel every time you are expecting to consume a product and the product it's out of date. Or as well, it's something common to see in shopper reactions every time they they don't feel, they don't get the product they were expecting in the store. This cost, this is a very important emotion that is basically there to prevent you to get into your body some things that are outdated or can make you feel bad. Every time you smell something that is disgusting, every time you get into a store and you see the products that are around your products that are in bad condition, this will prevent you to get closer to those products. And it's incredibly important if you are dealing with food or beverages. And surprise, it's the sixth emotion with a critical relevance. People spend a lot of time in the previous five, but it's a surprise the only one that is capable to awake the zombie, to take you out of the T1 system. That is the system that regularly you can see in every shopper every time gets into a store. So you need to awake the zombie. So how the whole thing works, if you put all these elements into a single chart, how can we describe the functioning? Well, everything you decide is based on how you interpret the outside world. So your interpretation will always drive your decision. So for you, based on your beliefs, your learning experiences, your past, you will always see the world in a way that you believe this is how it is, or this is how it must be. But for some other people that grew up in some other countries with different rules, different surrounding conditions, this can be completely different and can be something good and nice. So whatever you think it will be good for shoppers, we need to previously understand how is this matrix or these preconceived ideas, how is the interpretation matrix on how the shoppers see the life and see things in order to approve or reject products or ideas or brands or proposals or promotions, whatever you want to put in front of them. Something that is incredibly relevant is every time you run a promotion, you are expecting consumers or shoppers, in this case, to change a habit. And everyone knows how difficult it is to change a habit when this habit has been there for quite a long time. And going back to our previous slide that says that all habits are in the mammal brain. Well, we need to really go through the process. First of all, you need to awake the zombie. You need to really provide an argument, a strong argument to the rational brain to really say that this is something that is valuable and is worth it to really, get into this adventure of changing a behavior. And the benefit that you're offering to shopper compensate the cost of transition, the cost of change. Every time you are trying to convince a shopper to change a brand or to change a product or to change, the amount of products that you want them to buy, has a cost involved. Something that I will have to stop doing. Some other things I will have to stop doing. And based on this cost, immediately the brain is evaluating ideas. A is better than B. Then the mammal will always get into the equation and will say, listen, this is my brand that you has been doing this for years. You will feel bad if you don't consume this. The mammal will always make this in seconds. And then based on the rational and the mammal brain discussion, you will take a decision. Either you buy it or you reject it. 80% of our investment is focused on create awareness, visibility, or convince a shopper to try a brand or convince a shopper to buy more often a product, and a specific product or a brand. But the most difficult decision that we have to pursue is to convince a loyal guy that is completely satisfied, or lady, shopper in general, that is completely satisfied with a product, with a brand, with a service, to try me, okay? To really get into this. So 80% of the effort is on the loyalty, but the revenue that you will get will be from converting those guys. And just to finalize this, whatever you do in store, this is the shopper disposition, this is the shopper behavior funnel. So from getting to a store, exposing, considering, interacting, and purchasing, you have to go through 3 different doors. If you want to be successful in convincing shoppers, you need to really get through these 3 doors. The first one is awake shoppers. The second door will avoid fear or disgust. You need to provide confidence to the shopper that the shopper is getting into the right decision and the shopper is taking the right decision. So get closer. Then you need to read away from anything related to rage or sadness in order to get the full satisfaction. And this will be, a teamwork, multi-sensorial experiences. You will see the light of the store, you will see the smell of the store, you will see everything getting into the equation. So just to conclude, decisions are driven by interpretation. Everything you decide is based on how you interpret the world. And interpretations are based on learning experiences, and those learnings and experiences were driven somehow by emotions. So if you don't surprise your shopper, they won't notice you. If you are still focused on visual and traditional merchandising, you are losing money. And it's far easier than you think, but you need to start small and start as fast as you can. So thank you very much for your time. Hopefully I didn't take too long.
No, you were in time, and all the knowledge and the insights that you gave us were more than great, Mr. Sotillo. We're very blessed to have listened and have the knowledge now of so great things. Hope you have a rest of a great and creative day.
Thank you very much.
We thank you. Take care.